Hey everyone, so I wanted to start this video off by just saying hi again and walk you through the next one, the portfolio and the kind of strategy. Okay, now I'm going to be titling this video, as you'll have seen by now, the most valuable asset, tool, whatever you want to call it, on Football Index, and that is you as an individual, your own footballing knowledge. Okay, so Jason Denier is someone who is very cheap on Football Index, and as you've known from the previous videos, I've got a decent holding in. Okay, now Jason Denier comes in the category of, in my opinion at least at the moment, vastly undervalued players on Football Index. As you can see on the screen, he plays for Lyon, he's a central defender. If you're not familiar with him, he's Belgian. He's had a couple of caps for Belgium in his career. He's 23 years old, he's quite young. Made a summer transfer from Man City to Lyon for about 10 million euros or something like this, 50 million pound, I can't remember. But anyway, he plays every game for Lyon at centre half, and as you can see over the last 3 months, his price has kind of been bouncing between kind of 83 pence, and he's kind of reached up to the pound 5 level in recent times. Okay, Lyon play in Ligue 1, as you know, which is a qualifying league for matchday bonuses, and still in the Champions League. Now granted, their draw is Barcelona, so they're probably not going to go much further in the Champions League. But with your holds, guys, you need to be looking at timescale. How long do I want to hold this player for, and what kind of return should I expect or aim for? And even if you look at this little graph here, even for the last month, he's very low risk. You know, he's not moving vastly. This graph, there's some peaks and troughs in it, but you're talking about going from the kind of 90 pence mark ish down to the 80 pence mark. So it's a 10 pence swing. Okay, so if I'm not holding very much of them, and I'm the opposite, I'm holding quite a bit of them in fact, that isn't too much to contend with if you're just playing with small amounts of money. But for him to go up, and as you can see, he has a, what I call, and I'll touch on it in another video in a bit more detail, a pre-established ceiling, which even if you take the candlesticks out of it, which are momentary little blips for maybe about an hour or so where their price just shoots up, but doesn't maintain that level. The green line is a kind of maintained price that they've held for, you know, a period of time. Even if you stick to that green line, you're talking about mid-90s, okay? So picking them up for 85 pence a share at, 300 times, for them to move up 10 pence as a percentage, you're talking about somewhere in the region of like 12% or something like this, which is, a great return on investment. If he was to break his ceiling and go past that, then that's when I'm really looking at this being overall successful. But as much as I'm saying a 10 pence swing up is really good, 10 pence swing down isn't too bad. Put a caveat on that, and that is how much you're actually holding. For me to drop 10 pence on Jason Denier down to 75 pence, for example, would be very bad. Very, very bad percentage wise, and for the overall strategy. But as you can see, since his transfer to Lyon, he's never really dropped below. That's transfer day, end of August, end of September kind of time. He shoots up, and he's never really dropped below that. Okay, if you go back a wee bit further, if you during the World Cup, he wasn't in the World Cup squad, so he was very, very cheap. He was on loan in Galatasaray, not a qualified league, not getting any press attention, nothing like this. Very undesirable at that point. The transfer to Lyon makes him much more desirable because he's in Ligue 1. So those circumstances haven't changed. So anyone who's jumped on him since that spike are still kind of riding the train on waiting him make a breakthrough and get some stellar performances, get some goals and matchday dividends. Okay, so because he's because he's really cheap, something is significant. And it's funny, as I record this video, he's only up 1 pence, but the last week or so he's been up and around that kind of 88, 89, 87 pence mark, and for him to move 3 pence, and that equating to £9 for me, or 4 pence, £12, as you can see here, makes a big difference. A big difference to how quickly you can earn the money you're targeting to cash out on. Okay, so you always want to be looking at their value, their situation. Is it going to change? Well, let's have a look. I had this set up already. It's kind of changed now. Lyon's game's on Friday. It's a single match day. Okay, so there's only 3 games on. 1 game in La Liga, Vallecano versus Vigo. Nothing spectacular there. And then Cannes at home to Lille, and Lyon away to Reims. Okay, now Leon are easily the biggest team out of the 6 that are playing on that day. If you look at Pro Football Flash Score, Jason Denayer, if we drill into him, plays 90 minutes almost every single week without fail. He's even got a winning goal and a 1-0 win there away at St Etienne. So he's got it in him. He's a solid player. And as I started this video off by saying it's about your knowledge. Now, I'm a Celtic fan. As you'll know if you look through the channel, you see videos of me going to games and stuff like that. And when Jason Denayer was at Celtic, he was very young, must have been about 18 or something like this, yeah. And he got Young Player of the Year in the country, you know, he was very good. And with me knowing that and then seeing that he's playing every week for Lyon, the guys that have signed him and the guys that are playing him, obviously he's got continued talent. I know he won the league and a cup in Scotland. I know he also won the Turkish Cup, and Turkey may have won a league as well when he was there, I'm not too sure. At Sunderland he also had a bit of a torrid time, which is why, so what you need to remember is the vast majority of player base in this game is people in the UK and predominantly of that England. So those people will really remember him from Sunderland, playing 24 games. He got relegated under David Moyes, didn't do very well, and that's what's probably holding him back. They don't know how he actually is as a player. They don't get as much exposure to him. They've not seen him. So that's, for me, it ticks a lot of boxes. I say they're playing Champions League football. They have a decent run of fixtures on the lead up to the Barcelona game. PSG at home, you know, it could be any result really. Nice away could be tricky. Otherwise, St Etienne away. Otherwise, it's quite straightforward if you look at that time period there. So even though your match day dividends, goals and assists, those two things only, they only last for the first 30 days when you buy a stock. The other bonuses, media and match day bonuses, are lifetime. So throughout that period, if he plays well, all I need him to do is play once. Play well once in any of these games. He doesn't even need to win dividends. If he does well, people will then he'll pop up on the radar, and more people will then think, oh, do you know what, he's really cheap, and you know, all the things I'm telling you about now, and then subsequently moves on that. For me, if I could get Denayer to £1, I'm probably quite satisfied with that. I'd be very satisfied with that, yeah. So these are the kind of things I'm looking at. His value, his risk is very low. He's not going to really drop below where he's at now. Now again, I'll add a caveat to that. If he was to break his leg tomorrow, then that changes things quite a lot. But barring that, you know, he's quite consistent in his pricing. He's not going to change too much. And if he changes for the better, then I'm in a great position to cash out on some of that and, you know, take some profit and move it on somewhere else, okay? So that's it. The biggest tool is your knowledge, okay? I'll be doing another video where I'll go into this in a bit more detail, okay? But for example, if you are playing with small amounts of money still, and I would still say that I play with small amounts of money, but the point is you're not got thousands of pounds to throw about. Even Rakitic is a fantastic purchase. Even Rakitic is ridiculously cheap for how good he is. He's 30. He's not really going to get a big transfer again after Barcelona. He's not going to, you know, be an £80 million signing for Juventus or Paris Saint-Germain or any of these teams. He might move to one of these clubs, don't get me wrong, but he's not going to be a record signing or anything like this at 30. But I had Rakitic prior to the portfolio you see there now. He didn't make an assist, he didn't score a goal, but he still won player bonuses, best midfielder of the day on a Sunday, which was a double match day. So I have a lot of competition. And that really highlights, again, your football knowledge. I know Rakitic plays centre midfield. I know he's going to be making lots of passes, lots of tackles, lots of runs. He's going to be involved in lots of things. And for how cheap he is, Barcelona, we expect him to do well in the Champions League. They should go past Lyon. They're doing very well in the league, and it's going kind of unnoticed by a lot of media. He's very, very cheap for what he is, you know, very, very cheap, very low risk. He can only really go up. I bought Rakitic at something like £1.12, £1.13. Yeah, I pretty much just followed the spike, and I sold him, yeah, probably just that wee level off before the final little increase there, somewhere about 2 something like this, after taking match day bonuses out of him for £2, which basically paid the commission you lose to index when you sell on. Okay, so that's the main thing, guys, is your knowledge, your gut. You know, I'm only here to suggest methods of doing it and when's good and when's bad and what you should look for. But ultimately, it's going to be your football knowledge that will help you get the edge over people. Because at the end of the day, that's all Football Index is seeing the crowd coming, you know, being ahead of them and saying, right, okay, this guy ticks all these boxes. I know other people like these things because this is just the way the game works. And by the time other people see it, I'm already in, okay? Which contradicts the strategy I've had with Kai Havertz, which I did in the last video, but there's a different strategy in play behind that, which I explained in the last video. Feel free to go check that out, of course. And I'll quickly explain the Ter Stegen holding I've got here. It is basically a test. 85 pence a share. It's not even, it's nothing, you know. That's the kind of holding I'd maybe have on a denier if I only had a portfolio of, say, less than £100. I'd maybe just hold a couple of them just to have them and make something on it when it moves, when I know it's going to move, you know, from the criteria I've already stated. Ter Stegen's a goalkeeper, which is a nice little thing to add on to it, because if he gets any clean sheet, and we just looked at Barcelona's fixtures, or we will look at Barcelona's fixtures, sorry. If he gets one clean sheet, then he gets paid 3 pence a share. That's what your payout is. One clean sheet. That's all you need. And that is you in profit instantly on someone like Ter Stegen. You pay 2% tax commission to Football Index when you sell. 2% of 85 is 1.7 pence. So if I get paid 3 pence on every share, then instantly from him getting a clean sheet, which, as you can see, Barcelona can quite easily get a clean sheet. I'm instantly in profit. So off the back of his clean sheet, there will always be a price movement as well. Other people will buy into it because he's got the clean sheet, and then look at his fixtures. Eibar, Levante, that's a cup, it's irrelevant. Leganes at home, Girona away, Valencia at home, Bilbao, Valladolid, you know. He'll easily get one clean sheet in the 30 days I hold him for, and it's just a wee test just to see how it works out. And, you know, I've got another goalkeeper or two I'm keeping an eye on, which I'll maybe talk about with you later another time. But again, before I bought them, I do the same thing every time, guys. You're not going to see too many things new, even after the first couple of videos you've watched. I have a look at them, I know everything that I've just explained to you, and then here we go, boom. Someone who's undervalued. He has in the past been up comfortably above that pound mark for a decent period of time, maybe about 2 weeks or something like this, and he got quite high, you know, £1.20. Even if he gets to a pound, you know, even for the small holding I've got, that's a win, you know. And these spikes and increases you see are with the new in-play dividends coming into action. That's quite a recent development. Beforehand, goalkeepers were very unappealing. There's nothing to them that would entice you into buying them. So yeah, so he'll go far in the Champions League, treble day bonuses and all these types of things as well as possible. He's a passing goalkeeper, he's a sweeper keeper, you know, so there's 100% profit in that. But as I say, it's just a wee test, just with a spare little bit of change. I just thought, fuck it, excuse my language, I will dip into him and just see how it pans out, and then I can maybe go into another goalkeeper a bit stronger with a wee bit of confidence. I know what I'm kind of up against with a goalkeeper, okay? And I was going to talk through another few examples of this type of thing. What's how long I've been going? 13 minutes. It's a bit long, guys. I'll maybe save the rest of it for the next video, but that's the key thing to take away from this, is the main tool, your biggest asset, is your knowledge of football. The teams you support, the players you know about, you've seen them, you know about them, you've heard about them, you know. Even something as simple, guys, as playing FIFA and Football Manager, these types of things. I'll give you a great example. He's probably on my list here. Yeah, there he is. João Cancelo. Last FIFA, I had a Serie A team, and this guy at right back, he was on loan at Inter Milan from Valencia. He was brilliant. He never got an inform or anything like that last year. If he did, he got one, and it was mega expensive. But I just had the normal version of him. He was rated like 7 to 8 or something. He was quick, strong, and his crossing was alright. And I loved him. And then when I joined this, he was one of the first people that I went about buying. And I kind of held him, going back to March, yeah, he was just under £1. And then I didn't have a lot of money in this back then. As you know, again, I'm not saying I've got a lot of money in it now, but I was trading with very small amounts of money, so I wasn't really able to make much out of it. But yeah, so these types of things, guys, it's your hunch. You are the biggest asset you've got on this. Is how you feel about things. I'll touch on this guy real quickly, right? If you don't know who Jacob Brun Larsen is, right, he's a very young winger, plays for Borussia Dortmund, okay? Now, I'll just very, very quickly touch on this, right? I bought my IPO, IPO is basically at the end of those big blue lines is when he came into the market and the price he was at, and he's just dropped since then. I lost it maybe about £2, £3 on him or something like this. Jacob Bryn Larsen plays for Dortmund, right? And let me show you what you need to see here, right? Dortmund, right? Top of the league. Actually, this is probably better. Top goal scorers. Dortmund. Actually, let's do it this way. Sorry, I wasn't planning on doing this. I had to set it up. So let's just hop into this game here. That's some sort of friendlies. Jesus. Oh, there we go. Right. Let's have a look. I've not looked ahead on this, or I'd have it prepped. Okay, so Sancho started there and he scored. Jacob Brun, he's come off the bench there. Right, okay. So let's have a quick peek at this. Right, so standings, top goal scorer. So all the Dortmund ones are now highlighted. Alcacer, Royce, Sancho, 6 goals, 7 assists. 6 goals, 7 assists. Jacob Brun Larsen, 2 and 1. Okay, now, see, I haven't looked into this in advance. Jacob Brun Larsen, if we dive into him a bit deeper. Oh, he's just come back from an injury. That's what it is. And he's been in and out of the squad a wee bit more. He started off the year, yeah, really. Oh, he scored a goal. He scored goals in Europe, and this must be a cup or something. And yeah, Jacob Brun Larsen started the season, as you can see here, just even with this page, he started the season really hot, getting assists as well. And again, this page doesn't show you assists. He was doing really, really well, and he's just kind of tapered out form and the team in our injury or something. I didn't realise he was injured again. But this is the type of player I'm talking about. He's 20, he plays for Dortmund. Dortmund are a notoriously selling club. Whenever anyone takes off, they're always likely to move to the Premier League or a bigger club or whatever. Jacob Brun Larsen is trading at 229. Okay, he's at a low now. He's not been on the market very long, not even 6 months. Jadon Sancho. This just highlights the point. I'm kind of getting to here. Who you need to know who you're playing against is £9.13. Right now, his record is better than Brun Larsen's. No two ways about it. Okay, but is he 5 times more valuable than Jacob Brun Larsen on a match day? No, definitely not. Long-term media, future transfers, short, and I mean short-term. Jadon Sancho is more likely to get a £80 million move this summer than Larsen is, but that's not to say in 10 months time from now we could all be talking about him as the next Jadon Sancho. And if you look at the top 200, it's not too far-fetched to really, so let's just go highest price. It's not too far-fetched to imagine that he goes somewhere to, waiting for my phone to load, sorry. He goes somewhere to doubling his price, is what I was about to say. Here's even someone here. Luka Jovic plays for Eintracht Frankfurt, scored a few goals, scored 4 in a game or something like this. He's £4.75, okay. Bit of a hit wonder. I'm not too sure how old he is because of this. It doesn't show you. But could Jacob Brun Larsen, who plays for Dortmund, who's in the Champions League, who's fighting for the the Bundesliga title, is he half as valuable as Luka Jovic? I don't think so. So that's the type of thing you got to be contrasting and comparing. Someone in similar-ish circumstances, how valuable are they? What do they offer that player doesn't? What does he offer that they don't? Compare and contrast. And it's your knowledge, guys. I can't say enough. It's your knowledge that makes the difference. Okay, have a good one. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please drop a like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. It really makes a big difference. I really appreciate it. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.